Hey guys, and today's video is going to be all about training arms and how to get bigger arms, something that pretty much most guys want in the gym. I'm going to give you something a bit controversial today, and I'm going to tell you to actually undertrain your biceps and overtrain your triceps. The reason for this, basically because the tricep has about 60% of the arm mass and the bicep makes up the rest. If you want to fill your shirt sleeves, you need to spend a bit more time focusing on tricep exercises. So what I'm going to do is show you 3 different ones. We're going to do like an overhead, a down and a straight in front, and ideally you'll spend a bit more time focusing on this part of your arm. You're going to get better gains. We're at the One London Gym in Fulham, amazing little venue. Let's go and get started. Standard approach to training arms. Most guys come into the gym and spend up to an hour training their biceps. So this is a pretty common sight. Dumbbell curls, barbell curls. Not surprising. You can see the muscle in the mirror. You get a pretty easy contraction when you squeeze your bicep. So you get that kind of immediate mind-muscle connection that Arnie has always spoken to us about. So you can see why it's the default for most guys in the gym. I'm going to try and teach you guys a better way to thicken up your arms. This is a preacher curl, so called, I believe, due to the shape of the bench, and this is done with an easy bar. Again, nothing wrong essentially with this exercise. This is a great exercise for building up your biceps. One of the reasons this one works is because your elbow is in a fixed position and you can't use the front delt to lift your arm up. You have to use the biceps in isolation. So it's very, very popular amongst bodybuilders. And essentially it's one of your staple diet exercises when you're working your biceps. So one thing you'll note about the anatomy of the upper arm is that the bicep has 2 heads, hence bi, and the tricep has 3 heads. However, it seems that most male trainees spend at least 60 to 80% of their time training their biceps instead of their triceps. And actually this is probably the wrong way to approach this. So let's have a look at 3 tricep exercises. They're going to get your triceps bulging. Okay, so one of my favorite tricep exercises, and one that I think should be the staple of your routine, is the close grip bench press. A familiar exercise for most people. With this particular version, what I want you to do is take a narrower grip, somewhere from 10 to 12 inches. And the key point here is that you're going to keep your elbows close to your sides as you lower the bar down. This completely changes the mechanics of the exercise and takes a lot of the stress out of the pecs, and puts a lot more into the tricep itself. Hence, there's a lot more extension at the elbow and flexion at the elbow joint. Try to bring the bar straight down to your chest, press up forcefully. Keep your shoulders retracted and down, and shoulder blades flat to the bench. The close grip bench press pretty much targets all 3 heads of the tricep. So this is one going to give you the most bang for your buck. It's also an exercise where you can use a fair amount of weight. As with a regular bench press, have a spotter to hand if you're not too comfortable with the weight you're using. So a little bit of tricep arm anatomy. What looks like the horseshoe, that's actually the lateral head of the tricep. So that horseshoe effect that you're looking for, that little cobra snake that snakes around the side of the arm, that's the lateral head of your tricep. The long head is the one that you can see in this video here of me stretching. It's actually the largest part of the tricep, and it's stimulated by doing overhead pressing movements. So let's take a look at an overhead tricep extension. I'm going to grab a nice heavy dumbbell. However, it can also be done with cables or barbells. Find a bench, nice and secure. One word of caution on this exercise. If you're not fully used to doing this one, I would suggest starting off with some kind of back support or maybe a spotter, just to make sure that you don't tilt backwards when you've got that weight overhead. Lift the weight overhead, thumb and forefinger clasped around the shaft of the dumbbell, and whilst keeping your elbows high, just drop that dumbbell right behind your head and get a full range of motion. Where possible, even when using a heavier weight, try to stop your elbows from flaring too much. Inevitably there will be some elbow flare, but you don't want to make this into a shoulder stimulating exercise. What we're trying to do is to isolate the triceps, and as I said, primarily put the focus on the long head of the tricep. You should be able to see this in the mirror. If you're relatively lean, you'll see a bit of a diamond shape just above your armpit. The third triceps exercise I want you to look at doing is an exercise which involves pressing downwards. So if you remember, we've been pushing to the front, we've also been extending overhead, and this one we're pressing down. So this is a classic. Most people will have done this one at some point. This is a tricep cable press down or tricep cable push down, depending on which country you're from. And this one targets the medial head and the lateral head as a focus. So as I was speaking about that horseshoe shape, this is the exercise that's going to help you really define that horseshoe. So mostly this one will be done on a cable station, nice and easy to adjust the weights, just using a pin-loaded stack, easy to do things like drop sets, and can be supersetted with other exercises quite simply. Top tips for this one: always keep your elbows glued by your side. If your elbows are coming forwards and moving backwards with each rep too much, that means you're using parts of your shoulders and your back to do the movement. Personally, I think this is acceptable for maybe 1 or 2 reps on a long set where you get really tired, but don't be doing that on every single rep. Otherwise, you're basically cheating all your reps. Bad reps are going to give you bad gains at the end of the day. So there's a whole host of exercises you can find to help with your triceps. Things like parallel dips, skull crushers, French press, dumbbell extensions. The key is you must try harder. Okay guys, so there we have it. The biceps may be the vanity muscle. It's the one you can see in the mirror, but actually it's the tricep is the one that's going to fill your shirt sleeves. So focus on these bad boys. I hope you enjoyed the video, found it interesting. If you want more training videos, check out my other playlists and don't forget to hit subscribe. Thanks, have a great tricep day.